So I've sat here very quietly listening to all this BS, quite frankly. And did you listen to anything McMaster said today where he said, I was in the room, that didn't happen, nothing inappropriate was shared? You're basing all these allegations off of one or maybe two sources, which CNN reports. Two former officials knowledgeable of the situation confirmed to CNN that the main points of the story. Two former officials. Tell you what, come out, name those people, then we'll have something to talk about.
One, we protect sources. Two, it's not just CNN, it's Washington Post, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, CNN, ABC,
yeah, but who
NBC.
Who are the sources?
Carl.
Who are the sources? Oh, because they're hiding behind this anonymity.
Oh,
and that's what we're seeing.
Please, do not even start with me that you're just going to attack sources.
Okay, so
that
what
is
about,
ridiculous.
so are you saying McMaster is lying?
I'm not saying McMaster is lying.
Well, he didn't really answer the question.
He didn't answer the question.
He said nothing inappropriate was shared.
He said, no, that's his opinion.
That would be...
But that's his opinion.
You cannot say, you cannot attack, do not attack the stellar reporters of CNN who have their sources and would protect their sources.
Stellar reporters of CNN that I am going to attack right now and say, guess what? I don't believe them because they're staying anonymous. If they stand behind this story, come out, face the camera.
Can I just say something?
All they've been doing is facing the camera, Carl.
The people who are in that room?
We have anonymous sources. We protect them for real reasons. So the information that is important to the public can get out.
Happen? I mean, those were anonymous sources. Was that not a real story?
I'm saying that there's been so many anonymous sources.
But seriously, so Watergate, it was all a lie because it was anonymous sources.
It was a trial.
Right. But
Carl, you're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing yourself, your party, and your country. You should not be doing this. You're a better person than this. I'm ashamed for you. This is not the discussion we should be having. This is a serious moment in our country's history. The President of the United States has been accused of and has admitted to sharing highly sensitive information to the Russian government. To not only the Russian government, but to a known Russian spy.
Let's deal with the facts. H.R. McMaster today confirmed when he was speaking to reporters that that Trump's aides, after the meeting, went to the NSA and the CIA to ask about classification of information that Donald Trump discussed. If there was no problem with what Donald Trump discussed, why was Tom Bossert going to speak to the NSA and the CIA afterward?
Well, since you so nicely pointed out that I do understand classified material, after a lot of these briefings, there are a lot of calls over to NSA, to the DOD, to find out if anything was classified beyond what they talked about. So guess what? These calls happen almost every single time.
H.R. McMaster says, I don't really know why.
So these calls sometimes happen after a lot of these meetings. So guess what? I still don't believe. I think this is a complete witch hunt. When they come out and say,
how is it a witch hunt when the President of the United States comes out and says that he shared information with the Russians? This is not a question anymore. He's admitting that he shared information. It's highly sensitive information. He didn't deny the story. The President had every opportunity to deny it. He did not deny the story.
I love how angry that you guys
because this is ridiculous. This man is unhinged.
Don't start doing that dismissive thing.
He should not be President of the United States if he's behaving this way.
You were wrong.
Well, guess what? 3 million more people voted for Hillary
Clinton. Don't get into that yet. Don't get into that.
98% geographically voted for Trump. But it doesn't matter.
No. What does matter is that we have a president who, right now, has acknowledged that he shared information with the Russian government after he, just the day before, fired the FBI director who was investigating him for.
The FBI was investigating him, not the director.
Who was investigating him for connections to Russia.
Let me bring it over here. Over and over again, as we played, Donald Trump on the campaign hit Hillary Clinton, I mean, how many times over being disqualified because she mishandled information, mishandled classified information. He handled either knowing it was classified or not, handed classified information to the Russians in this meeting last week. Is that a double standard?
Sure, but look, we shouldn't be surprised by that. By the way, on H.R. McMaster, I feel much better if he'd come out and said, oh, by the way, we did, at no point in this conversation did we disclose the location of that source within ISIS who's giving us the information. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but he said that they disclosed, I mean, in a roundabout way, he said that they disclosed the
Another
city
network
that
is saying which nation's spy agency has done that work. The only bright side of all this is that assuming right now ISIS is checking all of their middle management for a mole in there. And hopefully they're torturing the heck out of these guys. That's the only good news that's going to come out of this. I don't understand why the President of the United States would even bring up this topic other than to say, be worried about laptops on airplanes. That's all he had to say.
Give me a final thought on this.
Well, I just think one thing that's important is that what the Trump defenders are doing and what you're doing right now is really playing to something that I don't even believe that you believe. I don't believe that you believe that these reporters are making this up.
I do.
I don't believe that. Because if you've...
So you're calling me a liar.
Well, then you don't know anything about journalism. I mean, it's because the fact...
I'm not a journalist.
Well, I know, but you're somebody who's worked in the Washington world who should at least have some passing understanding that these anonymous sources don't just fall out of trees. It's not like, oh, someone just walked up to me on the street and told me something. These are journalists who have been covering this beat for decades.
So when you have people in the room that are denying it.
Let me just finish. These people are people that are known. That you have your editors that have to check this multiple times. You have to have multiple sources. It's not what Trump supporters are doing is they're trying to make regular people who don't understand how this works think that just some random person called up a journalist and told them something. That's not how it happens. These people's integrity are on the line, and they check out all of these stories.
And you know who seems to understand that? Republicans on Capitol Hill. Because the Republican reaction to this is basically, if the folks that many folks that I've talked to and people on Capitol Hill have talked to is, can you ask me anything else? Where do Republicans stand on this with their Republican president? What are they going to do about it now? Because all eyes are now on Capitol Hill. That's next.